If you're a life insurance agent or financial advisor or any other professional sales in the North America, US, and Canada, I have some secrets for you on LinkedIn today to smash through the limitations of connection requests and messaging, which is the whole point of us getting onto LinkedIn to network. Then you're going to want to stick around for this week's episode. All right, my name is Rob Souza with the Digital Advisor Weekly, and today we're going to be talking about how we can bypass the limitations on LinkedIn for messaging and invitations. LinkedIn's a fantastic place for marketing for business professionals, and you can even find leads that aren't necessarily business owners, but they are business professionals, and LinkedIn is a great place for that. My preference for LinkedIn over Facebook is because Facebook is really meant for socializing, and people aren't quite as open to business networking events and services as they are in being entertained and connecting socially with others. Whereas LinkedIn, everybody's expectation is that we are networking professional services and or career opportunities. But welcome to everybody who's joining us live. And if you are joining us live, go ahead and put in the chat where you're joining us from, or if you're a virtual assistant from around the world, do me a favor and put the city of the clients that you have and what city and state that they're from here in the US, or if they're in Canada. Let us know, be interested. Also, to support the channel and continue free ideas and strategies coming forward, I encourage you to hit that like, that follow, that subscribe button, depending on what platform you're on. We are going to try and engage with the comments in the chat, both during and after. So even if you're watching this in replay, I encourage you, go ahead, throw down a question there. We'd be happy to answer just about any question when it comes to LinkedIn. And if you are looking for automation tools, this episode is brought to you by Evie AI, one of the many tools that we use to automate the process. So thank you to Evie and my friend JB, who helped us with this content today. So we're going to go ahead. Let's switch here to a better layout. Yeah, I'm covering up JB. I'm sorry, I'm covering up your face, buddy. But that's okay. I love collaboration. This is why we do what we do. If you have ideas about what we're talking about today, please throw them in the chat. This is a chance to collaborate and throw ideas around so that we spend less time online searching for solutions to problems that have already been solved. And so networking with other professionals that have done that has been the cornerstone of Advisor Marketing Hub. Okay, so we are going to jump right in. And JB, thank you for this. He helped me put all this together in a fantastic article and video. We'll put the links to both of those inside the show notes on each channel so that you can access all of this information, again, also in writing too. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to touch on this really quickly, and this is your social selling score. So you can Google or go on to LinkedIn and go to the help button and make sure that you find out how to check your social selling score. The reason for index score, the reason for it is if you exceed a certain number, you can actually automatically double your 100 LinkedIn connections from that are limited to 100 per week, and you can actually earn the right to actually send 200 per week. Remember, LinkedIn is all about creating incentives for you to create more involvement on the platform. Don't just send messages out, links to send them off of LinkedIn. Try and keep as much of your marketing on LinkedIn as possible. Participate and contribute in providing articles, providing educational videos. Make sure that you're commenting. When you contribute into the community of LinkedIn, your social score goes up, and it unlocks all kinds of features without you having to pay for the premium features. Although the premium features do help you get there faster and automate the process. All right, we won't want to spend too much on that. We're going to jump in. I'll go over social score a little bit later in the show. That's a whole nother episode. And so maybe stick around next week and we'll go over how to increase your social index score on LinkedIn. All right, so first and foremost, I encourage you, if you haven't done this already, is search for open profiles. You also can make your profile open as well. That way you have two-way unlimited communication between you and an open profile. Open profile just means you don't need to be connected. Somebody has turned on the feature to allow unlimited messages and unlimited connections. And that's really what we want. If we have an event and we want to promote that event, you want as many connections on LinkedIn as possible to invite people to that educational event. And so if you have the ability to send email, you may only have 4,000 connections. But if you have all these other things I'm going to show you today, you could have up to, with only 4,000 connections, you could have 10,000 people that you could in-mail, send messages to with no limitation. That's what we're really focusing on today, because it's not so much whether you're connected or not, it's whether you have the ability to send them messages, send them invitations, invite them to events. Because we know at AMH, we teach the concept of send out 10,000 invitations to an event and you get a 1% response. That could get 100 registrations to a particular event. But you've got to be able to get to that 10,000 in-mail or invite threshold to be able to do that. And that's what today is going to help you be able to do. All right, so open profiles. But how do we do that? Well, first and foremost, again, consider opening your profile up. And again, you can go to the LinkedIn Help Center and simply ask how to do that. It'll walk you step by step. And then also, you're looking for other open profiles. Sales Navigator is a little bit easier to do that because there's not a filter in traditional LinkedIn. You have to identify them by going to their actual profile one at a time. And you can actually automate that process by using LinkedIn Premium, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, also Evi AI, or another LinkedIn automation tool like Meet Alfred or one of the other Link Sales and some of the others that are out there today will help you identify open profiles. Okay, so you'll see that in an open profile, the messaging will look something a little different like this. And down below, most importantly, you'll see that it says free message. That's what you're looking for, the ability to send to profiles with free messages. I see those comments coming in. Thank you for participating. Again, questions, ideas, comments. We love it. Follow, subscribe, support the channel, and we'll continue to grow. Okay, so here you can see that when your messages do come into your messaging center, they will identify that whether it's an in-mail or a regular message. So Max is a regular message, and you can see up here, it does say test, and then it says in-mail. In-mail just means you're not connected, but you're using an in-mail credit or a free in-mail because of one of the strategies that you're deploying here today. All right. So that's for open profiles. That's probably the fastest possible way that you can grow, is making sure that you have a clear list of open profiles. Again, use those tools. And now we're going to be talking about how you can export leads from Sales Navigator. And this happens to be using EvaBot to be able to identify whether it's an open profile or not. So here in this particular tool, you would export, and in that particular tool, it will identify true or false, whether they're open profiles or not, so that you can accumulate a list of open profiles and you can quickly identify, okay, this is the list of people I can send messages to. So if I'm doing invites, if I want to notify them of something, I want to message them back and forth, especially centers of influence, because you can access their audience, then you want to be able to use a tool like this and identify who's an open profile, accumulate a list. All right, and then so that's open profiles. We'll wrap that up and we'll move on. Before we do that, just want to check our comments really quickly. And yes, increasing visibility, super important. We're going to talk about that too. Best way you can increase visibility, and I talked about this last week, and that is comment, comment, comment. Find an automation tool like Evie AI to do something like that, because the more you comment, the more your profile name is going to show up in the notification center, and you're going to get, for if you do 10 comments, you're going to get 10 times more engagement than you would be if you just do a social post at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You might get 100 impressions, but impressions doesn't mean views or engagement. So I encourage you, remember, when you comment, comment equals exposure and notifications, and you're engaging. It's considered engagement and not just a view. And there is a difference. Okay. So thank you. And so those comments keep coming in. We'll come back to those in a second. But number 2, connect with group members and event attendees. So this is a great hack, especially because you can be very specific about finding your target audience. So if you can find your target audience, just go find groups. There are a limit to the number of groups that you can join. I encourage you to check the analytics on those groups and see how active they really are. And if you're not getting a lot of engagement or responses from particular groups, you may want to drop that group or exit the group and then rejoin another more active group. You can see, obviously, you want to look at the number of members that are in that group, because that's going to tell you how much access you're going to, how many people you're going to have access to that are your target audience. So when you are in a group, this is assuming that you've been accepted into the group, and that depends on the rules the group is set up. So pay attention to the rules so you don't get kicked out of a group. Some groups that tell you they don't want any soliciting of any type, including events, even if they're free. Then you got to be careful of that. And if that's what you're using InMails for, then stay away from those groups. Once you're in, it'll have all of the members of that group. It'll list how many of them, and then you can invite connections, and you can hit see all, and you'll be able to see all 11,000 from this particular group. That is a sample of what you could join. Okay, now you can automate the process. There are automation tools. Evie AI and Meet Alfred all can do this, and this is a great way to be sending messages. So if you have a prospect that has an open profile, then you send that free message. Because why send them a connection invitation when they don't need it? Their profile is already open. And if not, then we have an automation that we've built in several of our tools that then goes ahead and sends an invite. And you can even send an, if it's not a second degree, you also can send an email. And that's a whole nother conversation, but this is a really simple automation that can be set up in almost any tool, LinkedIn automation tool. So, and then once the invite's been sent, if they accept, you then send the message. And I'm referring specifically to sending messages to invite them to some sort of sales presentation. Even if the sales presentation is a 10-minute phone call where you get to share what you do, or you get to meet them, or a discovery call. No matter what it is, if you're reaching out, you're trying to make connections, get people to attend, the goal is you got to send that invite. And I don't mean connection invite. I mean invite to be able to send them messages and hopefully get them to attend or join some sort of event. All right. So that's event, or excuse me, groups. And so when you look at groups and you've clicked on that 11,000 members, you can see again, you can hit messaging becomes available on all 11,000 members. So you can begin prospecting here. I did this during COVID, hour to 2 hours a day. I didn't automate it. I did it manually, and doing it manually, I was able to put, whoops, I didn't mean to do that, 10 to 20 appointments on my calendar every week just by prospecting groups like this and sending private messages to people I wasn't connected with because I was in groups, because I was attending events. I could send messages inviting them either to a webinar, workshop, even I did it directly to a phone call. And so you'll see here, the messaging will, even though there's a third degree connection, which usually you can't message third degree, you're limited to the number of people you can send messages to at the third degree level, but here it's opening it up as long as you join a group. All right, so here, this is the ability to be able to network. So this is an event. And so if I join an event that has, look at this, 99 plus, so there's 6,900 attendees to this particular event, and I can I can connect with them. I can send them all messages as long as I agree to attend this event as well. Kind of a sneaky back door in the LinkedIn platform. So if you hit networking on an event that has a lot of people attending in your niche market, then you can go ahead, click on networking, and then again, you see messaging for ability for all of the attendees for that event. Super helpful. And it will identify the types of messages and in your inbox, your messaging inbox. Um, you can actually send a message into the request section within. Now, this happens to be Sales Navigator inbox, so it's a little bit different, but Sales Navigator inbox, if you have it, does identify where the lead comes from. So it can identify whether it's from an event or whether it's from a group that you're attending, and you can kind of organize it that way through Sales Navigator. If not, you have to do a little bit more manual work, but that's okay. You're saving I think it's 89 or something like that per month now with upgraded Sales Navigator. Okay, so we've talked about groups, joining events, and now and open profiles. So now that alone should be able to open up 10 times the number of connections that you have so that you can send messages to. And here, email contacts. This is probably the one I would do first. And it is the ability to upload your existing contacts. And if you've purchased a list, this is a great way to be able to avoid cold email and upload all of those contacts to LinkedIn. And then LinkedIn will send them either, if the email address that you're able to scrape or you have in your system, it's even good for your members. If you have clients and you want to be able to engage with them on LinkedIn, then if their email matches a LinkedIn account, it'll send them a notification to connect automatically. If not, it will send them an email to the email provided and invite them to click on the link, connect with your profile online with their actual email. So there is a trick kind of on how to upload those emails, because you just don't want to upload everybody you've ever been connected with. And so I encourage you to find a Gmail account or set up a free Gmail account or a Gmail account that you're not using, and then sync the, in fact, I'm gonna jump back over here to, okay, yeah, the tutorial, because I did want to show you guys how to add a Gmail account so that you can segment the leads that you're importing and reaching out to. So you will need to export or be able to find your lead list in a CSV file. And then I encourage you, and again, they're saying scrape.io, you can buy lists. You also can buy them from Seamless Automate, and we can help you with scraping leads as well. But you here can see we're going to take those cold leads, separate them from our warm leads by creating a new Gmail account and one that doesn't have any leads or contacts in it. And then click on contacts once you're logged into that new Gmail account. And then you're going to import that CSV file to the Gmail account. I know I'm going quick here, but I'm trying to make sure I keep this under 30 minutes. And then once you have all those contacts in your Gmail, now you're going to go to LinkedIn and you're going to hit add contacts. So import CSV file to your Google contacts. And then we're going to go ahead, go back to LinkedIn, My Network, more options. You're going to select your email provider, do a free like I said, free Gmail account, and then log into that Gmail account, and it will import all of the contacts that you've just scraped or purchased a list of. And instead of risking your domains and sending people cold emails that haven't opted into receiving emails from you, this is a backdoor strategy to have LinkedIn do it for you. And then you can start identifying and reaching all of those contacts on LinkedIn, or it will send an email suggesting that they may want to join you. Okay. So that's a little white hat trick that you can use to bypass the limitations. So we talked about 4 of them really quickly: open profiles, join groups, join events. I would also say comment, because you can message anybody who's commented on the same post, but I didn't add that today. And then finally, it's going to be uploading your Gmail contacts into LinkedIn and allowing them to send invites for you. Now, at the very beginning, I said I was going to come back to this, and that is how to increase your connection requests from 100 to 200. That's a quick win to double the amount of connection requests that you send each week. And so that's a little teaser for next week. So put on your schedule. If you want to be reminded, you can go to digitaladvisorweekly.com and sign up, and we'll make sure we notify you. But next week, we're going to be talking about how to increase your social selling index. We're going to go over profile optimization. So if you're watching this in replay, you should be able to click on that as the next video, or we will give you the link to subscribe and join us next week for this follow-up. All right. So the only other thing I just want to tease out before we wrap up today's meeting, and what I should also do, is check our comments to make sure I didn't miss anything. Normally I highlight comments, but I had a lot to go over this week. Yes, thank you. Marie's putting out that that URL again if you want to be reminded, or you want to subscribe for each week's episode. Yeah, so, and in, yes, connecting with contacts keeps people engaged. Thank you, Natalie. Garth, will LinkedIn see if, let's see, let's throw this up there. Will LinkedIn see if you're already connected? Yes, it will. Since as many people use a different email to register. Yes, if it doesn't have, if you're importing the email that's not connected to LinkedIn, then it will send them an email. And when they click on that link in the email, it will go to their actual LinkedIn account with the different email. But also, Garth, on a lot of the scraping tools like Seamless, make sure that you import the LinkedIn profile, because you can grab the social URL for every lead that's downloaded from a lead scraper like Seamless, and then you will know exactly that they already have a profile online, and that can be imported as well. So that's a great question. Okay, and just going through, make sure I didn't miss any comments, questions. Okay, I think I grabbed most of them. Yeah, automation is absolutely, you're right, Sue. Automation is everything. It can buy you back time at pennies on the dollar. I'm the biggest fan of automation, and the ones I mentioned today. Special shout out and thank you to Evie Boot, Evie AI, Meet Alfred. There's others, but those are the automation tools we use for automating this entire process. Seamless. Enough shout outs. Thank you guys for joining us today, and hopefully you got some value out of it. 4 ways to unlock, break through 100 limitations, 100 connection request limitations, and your email invitations to be able to use this audience to 10x your ability to invite people to phone calls or sales events. Hopefully that was helpful. Otherwise, we invite you to join us next week for the Digital Advisor Weekly, 8 a.m. See you next week.